Hello, I'm Pamela Davis. Welcome to episode 112 of the Well Done Life podcast. Hello, and welcome back to episode 112 of the Well Done Life podcast. I'm your host, Pamela Davis. If you are new here, hey, how are you? Welcome. I am so glad that you are here with us this week. I hope you stay a while. If you've been here before, you guys know the deal. I love you deep. I just truly am blessed to have you on the journey with me. Thank you for your continued support. I'm so glad that you are here as well, and I definitely want you to stay a while. So before we get started with this week's episode, I always like to lay the foundation. I know I'm starting to sound like a broken record, but I feel like it's so important to make sure that we start this off on the right foot with everybody knowing why you're here, what this is all about. So I want to make sure that you understand that the Well Done Life podcast is a safe space for women. And I treat this podcast like we are creating a house. And that essentially is what we're doing when we're building a safe space. We're creating a good foundation, a safe area for you to grow and learn and share authentically. So that's what this Well Done Life space is all about. And this space is built on two very important tenets. It is built on clarity and love. Clarity is just what I explained a moment ago, making sure that you understand that this is a space for women, for us to learn and to grow and share with each other. We are the foundations of society. So we have to support and encourage each other on the journey. And that's what this is about. And then the second foundation is my favorite thing. I love love. And so everything that we do in this space is going to be rooted in love. And with that, I always like to make sure that I send prayers to each of you every week. I truly believe that we have to pray more for each other. Even if we don't know each other, you definitely want to send positive energy, love into the world because we need it. So I am truly sending positive energy and love to you. I hope this week that you are able to receive my prayers of peace. I am praying for you to have prayer of love. I want you to feel love from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet. I'm also praying for you to have space for softness. We're talking about the soft life this month. I want you to be able to have space so that you can cultivate moments of softness in your life. We all deserve to live our best life. And softness in our life means that we're not allowing ourselves to constantly feel the pull and pressure of taking care of other people. We are giving space to take care of ourselves. We are creating space where we will love on ourselves the way that we love on each other. So I hope you have lots of space and opportunity to cultivate that for yourself this month, this week. And I am also praying for you to have prayers of perseverance. Sometimes it feels so hard on the journey. I always like to make sure that everything is rooted in love and positivity here. But I'm human and I understand what it's like. Life can be stressful. There's so many different things going on around us and to us. We have a lot of things that we are facing. I hope that you keep going. That's the thing. We have to have that prayer of perseverance to keep going, that prayer of perseverance to just kind of be the battery in the back that we need to help us keep on the journey, because there is greatness on the other side of our challenges. And so we can't give up, and we have to be willing to work hard, put in the extra efforts necessary so that we can move to our next level. So I am definitely praying prayers of perseverance for you. And so as we start to lead into this episode, now that you understand what our space is built on in clarity and in love, I am just so excited to be recording with you guys. It is Friday, June 10th at 10:14 p.m. And in all honesty, I did not think I was going to be able to do this week. It has been just such a crazy couple of weeks with work, and I'm just so exhausted. Like I can't even pretend and say that I'm not. And I was like, okay, am I really going to be able to pull this out? But I said no, because I have something that I definitely want to continue talking about in regards to our journey to softness. But I'm tired. I am tired. And so I hope that as you guys are listening to this on Sunday, that you are at a point where you are rested, where you are relaxed, and you are able to kind of prepare yourself for this new week coming up and in a better frame of mind than I am right now. But don't be worried. My frame of mind will change. It's changing because now I'm allowing myself to get into the mode of the weekend, but I'm just not even gonna lie. I am exhausted. But I am also really glad to be here. Like I said, I'm really glad to be consistent, and I'm really glad to continue our conversation in softness, because last week we started it off with episode 111, talking about, intentional softness, where we laid the foundation for the soft life. And obviously it's pretty straightforward. The soft life is the opposite of the hard life per the Urban Dictionary, but it's also the choice that we've all made, where we have decided, if we are embracing the soft life, that we want a life that is not filled with stress and strain. We are looking for a life that is built on many different things. It could be built on opulence. It could be built on luxury. It can be built on ease and relaxation. It can be built on our boundaries and not allowing ourselves to be placed in situations where we are stressed out by other people. So there is lots of definitions to the soft life. And that is one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about it, because I think the soft life looks different for each of us. But as I am trying to embrace it myself, because kind of like what I mentioned in episode 111, this is my time to embrace my softness. I've decided this month, I want to get back to my softness, more to my feminine side, my softer side, because I think it will allow me to have less stress. And at the same time, it just continues to open and expand myself. And that is something that I really want to do as I continue to grow and evolve. That is very important to me. I wanted to continue this conversation because I am learning that the soft life looks very different to each of us. Because again, like I mentioned, it could be opulence, it could be so many different things, but not everybody has the ability and space right now where they are to have a whole bunch of luxurious things. And that doesn't mean, though, because they can't do that they should not be embracing the soft life. Or it can be vice versa. You can have all the things, because, there are some of us who can afford all the things, all of the nice cars, the great bags, the great trips, all of those great things. And that's wonderful, because I think everybody will have a season where they get wonderful, abundant things. But you can have all of those things and still not be able to embrace the soft life, because you have not done the work within yourself to be able to ensure that you are able to embrace and receive and thrive in the soft life. And so that is why we are having this conversation, because I want to make sure that we are in that space. And I know for myself, as I strive to embrace, Lady P's return to softness, I can tell y'all it's hard. And, this week, as I have really strive to embrace more of the softness into my life, I have found that I have been very challenged in one area of that softness as it relates to my boundaries, and in particularly my boundaries with people that I love. This week, I have to admit, I have been challenged through and through with making sure that I am allowing my boundaries, as defined by the soft life, to not compel me to always be trying to save everybody and be nothing to myself. And so I have had many scenarios this week where it's like, you have got to be kidding me. I'm waking up to like weird text messages and all types of things because other people's needs are being thrust on me. And I have to admit, I'm tired of it. Like I really got to that point where I was like, I'm tired of this, and I can't allow myself to be distracted from the growth and elevation that I'm trying to bring about for me, because somebody else is in a situation that they put themselves into knowingly, and they felt that they could hustle me out enough where I can save them. And yes, it was a hustle. I mean, I'm not judging the situation. I'm definitely not going to go into too many details about it, because that's just not my place. And I don't need to do that, because I'm also believing for there to be healing in that situation. So I don't want to give life to negativity. But at the same time, I had to put my boundaries in check. I had to make sure that I did not allow myself to be distracted. And let me tell y'all something. It is hard, honey. It is hard, especially when you are already kind of like on emotional edge because you're stressed out about other things, when work is super busy or other obligations and we're trying to focus our energies, it's very easy to be distracted. So y'all, I was distracted this week, but I can tell you one thing that has kind of helped me on this journey to softness and this journey to making sure that I am allowing myself to be at a place where I can embrace my softness, where I can embrace the thought that I don't have to be everything to everybody, is my boundaries. This week, I have to admit, I spent many a day thinking about everything that I learned from reading the book Boundaries by Nedra Tawwab. And I've linked her before. I will keep linking her because her explanation on boundaries is so simplistic, but it's just so poignant. And I think a lot of us really need to dig into boundaries, because I find that when I speak with people in reference to, the things that they're going through and how their journey is as we're trying to grow and elevate, a lot of us are struggling in the area of boundaries. And it's like, until we get that aspect of our life under control, there is no way that we are going to be able to elevate. And just to give the clear title of the book, because I apologize, y'all, like I said, it's 10, now it's about 10:22. And so the mind is faulty at times. The proper title of the book by Nedra Tawwab is Set Boundaries, Find Peace, A Guide to Reclaiming Yourself. And again, it is a beautiful book. It actually, I just happened to be like Googling it because I had to get the title. And I just noticed that it's actually only $16.33, the hardcover version on Amazon. That's a steal. Let me tell you, best $16 you'll probably ever spend. So I'll make sure I put this link in particular in the show notes so that you can grab a copy, because I would strongly recommend it to everybody. And so, like I said, I kind of had to reference back because luckily I'd gotten a chance to read the book recently, and I was in a book club about it, and we had a great conversation facilitated by a great friend of mine, Shannon Green, and we were talking about boundaries and how exercising that sometimes with the people that we love is so challenging. And that is an area that I really, really struggle with. Or even one poignant question that she asked, which brought up a trauma that I had not really talked about in a long time, was, do I recall the moment that I lost boundaries, like I lost control of my boundaries? And for me, I was very young at the time. I was actually in the 6th grade, and I was in a math course. And unfortunately, there was a traumatic situation that occurred. And so from that point on, it was something that I lost my boundaries for. And I've healed from that situation, thank goodness. I've gone to counseling and had many different things come up. And I'm not going to go into too many details about it because I never told anyone about it. And when I say I never told anyone, I never really spoke about it to my mom or my dad because, now I'm going to leave that there. So, nope. I had to pull that back. I was like, I never did that. And so I'm just never going to do that because I just feel even at this point, it wouldn't serve anything to bring it back out. But I do know that it is something that I lost my boundaries. And so I brought that up not to kind of go into a tangent about that, but to give yourselves a rhetorical question to ask yourself. Do you recall the exact moment that you lost your boundaries? And think about, or allow yourself to think about it, depending upon how traumatic that situation was that you uncover. how you felt in that moment and how you have recovered from it and the steps that you've taken to recover from it. Because if you haven't recovered from it, like some of us, like I said, I've gone through counseling, I've healed, but if I still think about it, it's something that obviously I still have challenges with, I still have to heal from. That could be something in your life that you definitely need to explore and possibly heal from, because it could be blocking you from being able to properly execute boundaries. And being able to properly execute boundaries is going to be key as we all look to embracing these new levels in our lives. You know, the soft life, kind of relating it back to the level that we are talking about right now. It is very difficult to execute the soft life when you don't have boundaries, because when you don't have boundaries, you allow yourself to be put into situations where you are not able to prioritize your needs. And because of that, that can hinder you from being open to being receptive to the soft life. And I know that that may sound like a roundabout way, but let me break it down for you and say it kind of again. If you do not kind of identify the areas in your life where you struggle with boundaries. And that's why I said I use the example of being able to think back to the moment in your life, no matter when it occurred, where you lost the ability to set boundaries, when your boundaries were broken. And think about how you felt in that moment. And then think about what you have done to heal since that time. And it's not a judgment. So don't ever feel like, oh, you didn't do enough, or you didn't realize that you were still holding on to that, because we all hold on to trauma in different ways. I'm just bringing it up as a point that you might want to address, because as we are talking about the soft life, bringing it back to this topic that we are talking about right now, it is very important to be able to identify moments like that, because that can be a defining point that is limiting you from being able to let go enough to be able to receive and be open to the soft life. Because remember, when we are living this softer life, we are positioning ourselves where we prioritize our needs, our desires, over feeling obligated to be everything to everybody else, because we have not set boundaries. So definitely hope that that is a clear identifying point, but I definitely wanted to make sure I made it because it is critical. And bringing it even further back, like I said, to this week's episode, that is a challenge for me with the people that I love. And this week, it definitely was tested. It really was. Like, I have just been, weird text messages, all kinds of things, cussing out folks. It has just been one of those weeks, while at the same time trying to go through work and just do it all. And I'm exhausted. But I will say that the one thing that is the shining spot of all of this is that, in spite of the stress, in spite of feeling pulled in 18 different directions, I chose me. Yep, I chose me, y'all. I ultimately made the decision to choose me. And don't let me act like it was, right off the bat, like as soon as the craziness started, I was able to embrace the soft life and just block and rebuke and block that craziness. I wasn't. I had to have conversations about it. I had to pray about it. I had to figure out what I was going to do. I had to cuss people out about it. But I did cuss people out, because if you try me too hard, that can happen. I'm a very nice person, or I strive to be anyway, but don't play with me. And people like to play with me. And so if you push me too far, you'll see that side. And I wasn't even half as angry as I could have been in that situation. But let me tell you, I was heated. And so I had to go through it. And again, like I said, I'm going through it while at the same time I'm going to work. I'm doing all these different things, but it may have taken me a roundabout way, but ultimately I chose me and I said no. And it's so funny, because when I first said no, I had to type up a message and copy and paste it as a text message to say no. I did. I made the decision on what I wanted to say, and to say no. I remembered from that book that I don't owe anyone an explanation for my no. I could have just typed NO and that would have been enough. But I decided to give a little bit more context because I was like, I don't really think there's any way anyone can come back at me if I send this message. And so I sent it. And yeah, I got a little flip remark back, but I ignored it because that doesn't matter to me. I said no, and I have to stand in my no. And it's funny because then I got tried again afterwards by somebody else. I said no, and I stood in my no, used that same copied and paste, and used that same message. They were more receptive about it. They didn't really, they took the no and moved on. And I have gone on with my life. But yes, I literally had to type up a message and put it in there. I have saved it into my phone, y'all, because that is going to be my new message. Anytime somebody comes and asks me something that is violating my space, my energy, my peace, and I don't want to go forward or do it, I just have to say no. And I am very clear on what that is. And you know what? I want to mention that because maybe that might be what you need to do. You know, we don't owe people explanations when we are in this journey of the soft life. Because again, the soft life, we're talking about it more on a deeper level. So I just want y'all to keep staying with me. I know you're here with me this far, but I want you to remember this is deeper. We're not talking about the massages and all that kind of stuff. We're talking about the fact that we have made the choice to prioritize ourselves, to realize that we do not have to save everybody. And we have decided to leverage the power of our boundaries to be able to help us execute that. So I have decided that means I am possibly going to be wind up sending you messages that will say, I'm not able to help you with this request. I don't feel comfortable. Boop. And that's it. And I have it saved in my phone. And whenever I need to, I'll be just copy and pasting it and moving on because I'm just not doing that anymore. And don't get me wrong. It wasn't like I said, it was easy. You heard, I've gone through the process. It took me a long time, but I did it. I did it. And I was so happy that I did it. I didn't celebrate, do cartwheels at the Cabbage Patch or anything like that. But I was so proud of myself for choosing me because I never choose me. I never choose me. And see, that's one thing sometimes I think people don't understand, or they misconstrue with people who are embracing the soft life, the people who appear like you have it all together, the people who appear so unbothered and unfazed. People will take your aloofness, your quietness, your kindness, and mistake that for a weakness. And then you have people who, like to prey on you. Not the people who pray for you. I'm talking about the people who prey on you. And that's what happens. People decide that they are going to prey on you. And unfortunately, you're trying to come from the space of, just peace, kumbaya, unbotheredness. They're trying to come from the space of manipulation. And you have to be open enough and receptive to see it and to call it out and to move on from it. And it doesn't require a conversation. It doesn't require the extra use of energy. I definitely don't recommend you cussing anybody out like I did. Like literally, like I said, it's just because even if you do that, all it does is suck the moisture out of your beautiful skin and make you stressed out. And then that person is just, upset, shell shocked until they figure out if they can just get what they want. It all becomes part of the manipulation and game. And somebody has to make the decision in that particular point in time to be the strong one, to be the consistent one, to be the focused one, to be the one with the moisture in their skin. And you have to say no, mean no. And if you have to turn your phone off so that you don't hear these people's responses, then you have to do that. But then you also have to make the decision within your heart, within yourself, to realize you don't owe anybody anything. Your no is enough. Because that's a strong part of the soft life. Because again, remember, you are supposed to be unbothered and unfazed. You can't be unbothered and unfazed if you say no and then you are allowing yourself to be guilted. There's no guilt. Remember, you are supposed to be sitting back, relaxing, drinking a glass of wine, resting your nerve because you stood in your power. Don't let anyone make you feel like standing in your power is wrong. It's never wrong. And saying no is not wrong. No is a complete sentence. People act like it's not, but it is. It's just because they haven't heard, they're not hearing what they want to hear. I mean, it's like children. And like I said, I said no, I meant no. I felt good about my no. But that still doesn't stop the little shady comments and stuff like that. I still get, I got a little text today, as a matter of fact, from that person who was upset, and I ignored it. Because all they're looking for is attention and a response. And all I'm thinking over here is, child, this is the weekend. I've said what I had to say. I'm done with it. I'm here to relax, keep the moisture in my beautiful skin, and preserve my energy. I'm finished. There's nothing else for me to say, and I'm not entertaining it, and I'm moving on because I chose me. See, that's what living the soft life is. It's choosing you. It's making the decision that you are enough. My word was enough. I don't need to go back and forth with you. I don't. And we're in my mind, I'm done with it. If you're mad, that really has absolutely nothing to do with me. Your anger is not my problem. And if you stand in that, believe me, they'll be all right. Not everybody's going to be all right, because like I said, I have one little angry pants over here, but then I talked to the other one today that I said no to, and he was fine. He was fine. It was no big thing. We didn't even talk about it. Asked him if he was okay, got what you need, all right, and moved on. Because my no was enough. And I want you to know that your no is enough too. We don't owe anyone those explanations, that energy. We don't owe anybody anything, because we are standing in our power. And that's what we have to do as a part of this soft life journey. Because again, like I said, it's the opulence, it's all those great things, but it all goes back to standing in our power. Because if we keep giving out our energy, if we keep giving out our good skin moisture, if we keep giving out our money, you will not have any of the resources left for you to be able to be open, receptive, and to the soft life. Like you just dried up, tired and bitter and angry because you're stressed out because everybody's pulling at you, getting what they need, but you're not getting what you need. So again, I always have to go back to the fact that as we are on this journey to living this most beautiful, opulent life, let's not lose sight of the fact that a lot of that is rooted in our healing. And that it's okay that we aren't all healed. It's okay that we have areas that we struggle with, or people that we struggle with. The great thing is that there is always still an option to choose you. It's just a matter of when you decide that you're going to do it. And for me, I've decided that right now in the month of June, at this particular point in time, I am ready to choose me. And I chose myself, actually, if I really think about it, the moment as I was setting these intentions going into 2022, I chose me. Make sure you have a time and a time when you chose you, because that is going to be the key to the next level, the soft life, the blessings, the favor, the peace, all of the things that we are looking and aspiring for. It all drills back to that moment. And eventually, or hopefully, prayerfully, I am hoping that the moments that when we choose ourselves, when we choose our peace over other people, especially toxic people, that is when we choose moments of positivity, light, love, and happiness that will, in time, replace the traumatic moments. And we fill up ourselves with more moments of positivity and happiness and joy. And so that the trauma gets pushed down and we don't think about it so much, and we don't operate from a place of trauma. We make the decision based upon the fact that we have a clear mind, clear understanding of what we want, what we desire, our worth, and we operate only from that level. So give yourself more moments like that and celebrate every single moment that you choose you. Because like I said, y'all, I didn't do a cartwheel or do the Cabbage Patch, but I was so happy when I chose me that it is something I will never forget. And I can tell you, I've looked back at those text messages a couple times this week to remind myself, you chose you, Pamela. You chose you. And you are on the right journey. Make sure you have moments like that too. Look back on those moments. Let them remind you and inspire you to keep choosing you, because every time you do it, it just builds up more in your bank account of emotion, in your heart and in your soul and your spirit. And it reminds you that you got currency where you're concerned, and that you should always choose yourself and do it much, much more often. So that's kind of like where I am, I think, with the soft life. That's where we are this week with the soft life. It's about, choosing ourselves and recognizing that the power of boundaries is real. And we have to take that into consideration as we are preparing ourselves for this soft life. It's not as easy as it looks, definitely, but just know that you are encouraged and inspired and supported on this journey, because believe me, I am right there in the trenches with y'all with this journey. It is just no joke, but I'm not looking back, and I don't want you to look back either. We're going to do this thing together. I'm going to make sure that, again, I link Nedra's book, in the show notes, especially the fact that it's on sale for $16, $16.33. And this isn't sponsored. This is just content that I have read that I truly love. So I definitely recommend that you check it out. She also does have a workbook that's attached. Now, I've never done the workbook. I'll be honest, I'm not a workbook kind of person. I'm really not, but I do see it like right here as well. It's on the same page with, the book, and the workbook is $14.99. But I wanted to make sure I brought it out because, some of y'all are workbook people, and if that's going to help you, do it. But just make sure you do that, because if I think about it, even in today's time of inflation and all great things, $14.99 and $16.33 is really not that bad of an investment, especially since a lot of us are going to have Starbucks and do all of these things in life. Take a little bit of that coin, carve it out. That could be a soft space, a safe, soft place moment, a soft life moment. Lord, it went in and out that quickly. Can y'all believe that? Sorry. That could be a soft life moment right there. Because again, you can have that as your pocket of peace time where you read a little bit or you work in your workbook. But again, invest in yourself, because all investments add up to great dividends in our soul and in our spirit and in our journey. So I definitely want to make sure you guys do that. I also wanted to take this time to thank everyone who listened and supported and commented on episode 111, Setting Intentions with Intentional Softness. I'm really excited about that. I'm so glad, because a couple of people said, I wanted to learn more about the soft life. I'm trying to embrace the soft life too. So it's really good to get everyone's feedback. I just want to say thank you. And I hope you found some value and nuggets in today's episode, because it is real. Setting boundaries is real. Choosing ourselves is real. We have to do the work so that we can embrace all of these wonderful things that we want for our life. We have to. It is not just about spending money in order to get to the soft life. You've got to do the work so that you can be receptive. And there's small changes in our life that will help us get to the softness of life. So I hope that this is now starting to fill that pillar where we are talking about preparing to be able to receive and enjoy the soft life. So we're making some progress. I have to admit, I'm also kind of thinking about maybe talking to you guys about how to cultivate that softness around you. Because y'all, I've started changing the music. I started talking to you guys earlier about the books that I'm reading. It's a whole thing. It's like creating this whole different space of content and softness around you. So that might be next week's episode. But I definitely would love any kind of feedback and notes from you on what you are doing to cultivate spaces of softness in your life as well. This is a journey that we are all on, and everybody is super curious about. So believe me, sharing is caring, and softness is where it's at. So I am definitely excited to just continue on the journey with you. I hope that you all have an amazing rest of the weekend. I will make sure everything is linked in the show notes. Please don't hesitate to reach out to me. You can always find me on social media at the Well Done Life Podcast on Instagram, or Pamela L. Davis on Instagram. I am Pamela L. Davis on Twitter. I'm not too much on the Facebook right now, just not even because I don't really like it, but just timing is kind of crazy. So probably IG, because I randomly scroll through there as I'm going through meetings at times to relax. And then you can also email me at thewelldonelife@gmail.com. And also, I do want to say again, the site is coming. I am very close. They just had some last minute developer things that they wanted to finish and get my mobile responsiveness together, but it's looking great. I cannot wait to share the website with you guys. So hopefully that will be very soon. But again, everything that I have right now will be linked in the show notes so that we can stay in contact and touch. And I look forward to talking to you guys soon. Please take care of yourselves and each other. Have a wonderful rest of the weekend. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.